My phone won't stop lighting up. 55 missed calls. The number keeps climbing while I sit here at my kitchen table with a cup of tea going cold between my hands. The voicemail started an hour ago. I haven't listened to all of them yet, but I've heard enough. My son Quentin's voice cracks through the speaker, high-pitched and desperate in a way I've never heard before. Not when he fell off his bike at 7 and broke his arm. Not when his father walked out and never came back. Not ever. Mom, what the fuck did you do? I take another sip of tea. It tastes like nothing. The honeymoon is canceled. They said you paid for it and then you canceled it. Call me back right now. Hi viewers, kindly tell us where you're watching from and what time it is. The next message comes through. There's a woman crying in the background. Tatiana. My son's brand new wife. Well, wife for about 6 hours now. The mortgage company just called. They said we don't own the house anymore, that you bought it. This is insane. You need to fix this. Tatiana's family is asking questions and I look like a complete idiot. I set the cup down. My hands are steady. That surprises me a little. I thought they might shake. Through my apartment window, the Phoenix sun hangs low and orange over the parking lot. It's October, but the heat still presses against the glass like something alive, like it's trying to get in. The air conditioning unit rattles in the wall, working hard to keep this small space cool enough to breathe in. My phone vibrates again. Text messages now, flooding in so fast the screen can't keep up. Answer your phone. This isn't funny. You're ruining my wedding. Tatiana is crying. Her parents think I'm a fraud. Please, Mom, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Just fix this, please. The last one makes me pause. Sorry, he's sorry now that his $15,000 honeymoon to Bora Bora disappeared. Now that the house he bragged about on Facebook for 3 weeks straight isn't his anymore. Now that he's standing in front of his new wife's family, the surgeon father and the lawyer mother, looking like exactly what they probably think he is. A user. A liar. Someone who takes and gives nothing back. I turn the phone face down on the table. The buzzing continues, muffled now, like an insect trapped under a glass. My apartment is quiet except for that sound and the drip, drip, drip from the kitchen sink. I fixed it this morning, finally. Turns out all it needed was a 99-cent washer from the hardware store. I'd asked Quentin to help me with it 3 weeks ago. He said he was too busy. Wedding stuff, he said. Tatiana had him running all over town doing wedding stuff. The phone goes silent for maybe 30 seconds. Then it starts again. I stand up, walk to the window. Down in the parking lot, Mrs. Chen from 3B is pulling groceries from her trunk. Her grandson helps her, carrying the heavy bags while she takes the light ones. He's maybe 16, 17. Could be doing anything else on a Saturday evening, but he's here helping his grandmother. My phone rings again. Not Quentin this time, different number. I recognize it after a second. It belongs to Tatiana's father, Dr. Vance. We met once, briefly, at the engagement party 6 months ago. He shook my hand for exactly 3 seconds, looked at my Walmart dress, and spent the rest of the evening on the other side of the room. I pick up the phone, press the green button. Yes? Mrs. Reese. His voice is clipped, surgical. I think we need to discuss what's happening here. Quentin is quite upset, and frankly, so is my daughter. There seems to be some sort of misunderstanding about a property purchase and a travel cancellation. No misunderstanding. Silence on the other end. I can hear conversation in the background, the clink of glasses. They're probably still at the reception. The Phoenician Resort, $400 a plate. Quentin posted about it constantly. I'm sorry. There's no misunderstanding, Dr. Vance. I paid for the honeymoon, then I canceled it. I bought the house they were supposed to move into. Everything is exactly as it should be. More silence then. Mrs. Reese, I don't know what kind of game you're playing, but no game. Have a good evening. I hang up, turn the phone completely off this time. The sudden silence in the room is so complete it makes my ears ring. I finish my tea standing at the window, watching the sky turn from orange to pink to purple. Watching Mrs. Chen and her grandson disappear into the building. Watching the parking lot lights flicker on one by one. Quentin called me pathetic 2 days ago. Said his wife thought I was an embarrassment. Said I couldn't come to his wedding because my life, this apartment, that car down there, everything about me wasn't good enough for her family to see. And you know what? Maybe I should start from the beginning. Maybe you need to understand how we got here, to this moment, to these 55 missed calls and this cold tea and this apartment that's too hot and too small and too pathetic for a surgeon's family to acknowledge. Maybe you need to know what happens when you spend 63 years being good and kind and self-sacrificing, and then one day you wake up and decide you're done. But that comes later. First, let me tell you about the grocery store. The one where my card got declined in front of 17 people. The one where everything changed. I wasn't always alone. There was a time when this apartment had 2 heartbeats in it instead of 1. When the Honda Civic in the parking lot carried car seats and sippy cups and a diaper bag that smelled like baby powder and sour milk. When I came home from 12-hour shifts at the hospital and found my husband Marcus reading bedtime stories to our son, both of them squeezed together in the armchair that's still sitting in my living room today. That was before Marcus decided being a father was too hard. Before he packed a duffel bag on a Tuesday morning. I remember it was Tuesday because I had the early shift and I kissed him goodbye at 5 a.m. and never came back. Quentin was 4 years old. He cried for his daddy every night for 3 months. I told him daddy had to go away for work. Then I told him daddy was sick. Then I told him daddy loved him very much, but couldn't be here right now. Eventually, Quentin stopped asking. That might have been the worst part. Not the crying, but the stopping. I picked up extra shifts. The hospital always needed nurses willing to work doubles, willing to come in on holidays, willing to stay late when someone called in sick. I said yes to everything. Yes to Christmas Eve. Yes to Thanksgiving. Yes to working 16 hours straight until my feet swelled so bad I couldn't get my shoes off without sitting down. The money went into Quentin's account. Every extra dollar. He wore good clothes, not great, but good. He played baseball in a league that cost $200 a season. He went on school field trips. When he brought home the permission slip for the 8th grade trip to Washington, D.C., I said yes, even though it meant I'd be eating ramen for 6 weeks straight. I missed his games. Not all of them, but most. Missed parent-teacher conferences sometimes. Missed the award ceremony when he made honor roll in 10th grade. I was working, always working, trying to build something for him, trying to make sure he had chances I never got. He graduated high school with a 3.7 GPA, got accepted to Arizona State. I had $23,000 saved by then. It wasn't enough for 4 years, but it was a start. Then my Aunt Winifred died. I need to tell you about Aunt Winifred because she's important. She matters to what comes next. Winifred was my mother's older sister, never married, never had kids, worked as an accountant for 40 years and lived in the same small house in Tucson the entire time. She drove a 1987 Buick until the day she died at 81, wore the same 4 dresses on rotation, ate dinner at 4:30 every afternoon, same meal plan every week. Tuna casserole on Mondays, chicken and rice on Tuesdays. People thought she was poor. She wasn't. She was careful. When she died, her lawyer called me, said I was the only living relative, said she'd left me everything, $847,000. I sat in that lawyer's office and cried so hard I couldn't breathe. He had to get me water. Had to wait 20 minutes before I could sign the papers. That money could have changed everything. New apartment, new car, maybe even a small house. I could have quit the hospital, found something easier. Something that didn't destroy my knees and my back and leave me too exhausted to do anything but sleep on my days off. But I didn't touch it. I put it in a separate account, told the financial advisor, a patient man named Broderick who'd managed Aunt Winifred's money for 30 years, to invest it conservatively, bonds, safe stocks, nothing risky. And I told Quentin the money went to a cat sanctuary. I don't know why I lied. Some instinct I couldn't name, some small voice that said, don't tell him, not yet, wait. So I waited, kept working at the hospital, kept living in this apartment, kept driving the Civic. The inheritance grew quietly in its account, invisible, untouched. By the time Quentin graduated from Arizona State debt-free, it had become $923,000. He got a job at a tech company making $70,000 a year, got his own apartment in Scottsdale, started dating Tatiana, who worked in marketing and wore clothes that cost more than my monthly rent. He called me less and less. Once a week became once every 2 weeks, then once a month, then only when he needed something, like 3 weeks ago when he asked to borrow my phone. His had died, he said. Just needed to check his email real quick. I handed it over without thinking. He disappeared into my bedroom for maybe 10 minutes. Came out, thanked me, left. I didn't know he'd downloaded Venmo, didn't know he'd linked my bank account, didn't know he'd just given himself access to every dollar I had. Not until my card got declined at the Albertsons on Indian School Road with $47.23 worth of groceries on the belt and 17 people watching. The cashier was young, purple streaks in her hair, fingernails bitten down to nothing. She tried the card twice, then looked at me with pity that made my skin burn. "Do you have another form of payment?" The woman behind me sighed. Loud, theatrical. Her toddler was screaming, red-faced and furious. And she shifted her weight like I was personally ruining her day. "Let me check my account." My voice came out smaller than I wanted. My hands shook, pulling out my phone. The banking app loaded slowly. Checking account, $1.89. Savings account, $0.00. That couldn't be right. I'd had $3,847 last week. Social Security hadn't deposited yet, but I had enough. I always had enough to get by. "Ma'am?" The purple-haired girl shifted her weight. The line behind me was growing. "Something's wrong with my account. I'm sorry. I need to call my bank." I stepped aside. The woman with the screaming toddler pushed past me, bumping my shoulder hard enough that I had to catch myself on the magazine rack. She didn't apologize. Outside, the October heat hit me like opening an oven door. I sat in my car, the 2004 Honda with the crack in the windshield and the passenger door that sticks, and called the bank's customer service number. 47 minutes I waited. 47 minutes sitting in that parking lot with sweat running down my back and shame burning in my chest. Finally, a man named Deshaun answered. Polite. Professional. Probably reading from a script. "Let me pull up your account, Mrs. Reese." "Okay, I see a withdrawal of $3,845.11 on October 12th. Venmo transfer to an account registered to..." Papers rustled. "Registered to Quentin Aldridge." The parking lot tilted. I gripped the steering wheel. "I didn't authorize that." "The transaction shows it originated from your phone, ma'am. Same IP address as your other mobile banking sessions. Same device ID." My phone. The one he borrowed. "Can I reverse it?" "Not if you authorize the transfer. You'd need to file a police report for fraud or theft." A police report? Against my own son. I hung up without saying goodbye. My hands on the steering wheel were white-knuckled, shaking. The vinyl was hot enough to burn, but I couldn't let go. He stole my grocery money, my rent money. The $3,000 I'd carefully saved over 8 months, putting away $40 here, $70 there, building a cushion so I wouldn't have to choose between food and electricity. Gone. I drove home on autopilot. Don't remember the route, don't remember parking, don't remember climbing the stairs to my second-floor apartment, though my knees ached by the time I reached the top. Inside, the air was stale and hot. I keep the thermostat at 78 to save money. The apartment is 500 square feet. Kitchen, living room, bedroom, bathroom. Everything I own fits in this space. I sat at my kitchen table and cried. Not the pretty kind of crying, the ugly kind that comes from somewhere deep and won't stop. The kind that shakes your whole body and leaves you gasping. When I finally stopped, the light coming through the window had changed. The clock on the microwave read 7:43 p.m. I washed my face in the bathroom sink, made myself a peanut butter sandwich, the last of the bread, the last of the peanut butter. Sat back down at the table. That's when I saw the envelope. White, formal-looking, thick, expensive paper. My name written across the front in gold calligraphy, Octavia Reese. I didn't remember it being there this morning. Must have been in the mail. I hadn't checked the mailbox in 2 days. My hands were steadier now, opening it. The tears had burned something out of me, left me hollow and calm. The card inside was cream-colored, embossed with gold lettering. You are cordially invited to celebrate the marriage of Quentin Aldridge and Tatiana Vance. Saturday, October 24th, 2023. 4 o'clock in the evening. The Phoenician Resort, Scottsdale, Arizona. This Saturday, 2 days from now. But something was wrong. I read it again. The envelope had my name, but the invitation itself didn't. This wasn't addressed to me. This was, what? A sample? A mistake? My phone rang, Quentin's name on the screen. I almost didn't answer. My finger hovered over the decline button. But some part of me, the part that still remembered rocking him to sleep when he had nightmares, the part that packed his lunches and helped with homework and cheered at the baseball games I actually made it to, that part made me press accept. Hey, Mom. His voice sounded distant, distracted. Quick question. Did you get a wedding invitation in the mail by accident? My throat closed up. Yes. Yeah, sorry about that. Tatiana's mom was handling the invitations and she got the envelopes mixed up. That wasn't supposed to go to you. The words didn't make sense at first. I heard them, but they wouldn't connect to meaning. I wasn't invited to your wedding, he sighed. The kind of sigh you give when someone's being difficult, when someone's being unreasonable. Look, it's complicated. Tatiana and I talked about it and we decided to keep it small. Just close family and friends. I'm your mother. I know, but Tatiana, she doesn't really feel comfortable with you being there. The room tilted. I pressed my palm flat against the table to steady myself. The cheap wood was smooth and cool under my hand. Why? Another sigh, longer this time, like I was exhausting him, like this conversation was an inconvenience in his busy day. She thinks you're kind of pathetic. The word hit me like a physical thing, like a slap, like a punch to the stomach. She sees how you live, Mom, that apartment, that car. She doesn't want her family seeing you and thinking that's what she's marrying into. Her dad's a surgeon. Her mom's a lawyer. They're used to a certain level. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. You told her how I raised you? The words came out whisper quiet. How I worked myself to the bone so you could have a good life? And I appreciate that, I really do. But this is Tatiana's special day, and I need to respect her wishes. I'm sure you understand. I understood perfectly. I understood that I'd given him everything and he'd learned nothing. I understood that my sacrifices meant less than his new wife's comfort. I understood that I'd raised a stranger. Did you take money from my account? Pause. What? $3,000. From my savings. Did you take it? I borrowed it for the wedding. I was going to pay you back. You stole from me. Jesus, Mom, don't be dramatic. It's not like you were using it. You just let it sit there. My vision blurred, not tears this time, something else, something colder. That was my food money, my rent money. I'll pay you back after the honeymoon. Tatiana and I are going to Bora Bora for 2 weeks. It's already paid for. Cost me 15 grand, but it's worth it. Once we're back and settled, I'll send you something. $15,000 for a honeymoon, while I couldn't buy groceries. I have to go, Quentin said. Rehearsal dinner's in 20 minutes. But hey, no hard feelings about the wedding, right? We'll do lunch sometime next month. He hung up before I could respond. I sat there in the dark. The refrigerator hummed. The kitchen sink dripped into the pot I'd placed underneath it. Drip, drip, drip. Something shifted inside me. Something fundamental. Like a bone setting after a break, clicking into a new position. I wasn't sad anymore. I wasn't hurt. I was done. I opened my laptop, the old Dell from 2015 that takes 3 full minutes to boot up. I sat at my kitchen table listening to it wheeze and click and slowly come to life while the sun finished setting outside my window. The login screen appeared. I typed my password with steady fingers. Email inbox. I scrolled back, past the spam and the bills and the pharmacy reminders. Back 2 years. Back to August 2021. There. Subject line. Estate of Winifred Marsh. Final distribution. I clicked it open. Read through the lawyer's formal language. The account numbers, the final total. $847,000. I'd told Quentin it went to a cat sanctuary. Told him Aunt Winifred loved cats more than people. Which wasn't even true. She was allergic to cats. Couldn't be in the same room with one without her eyes swelling shut. But I'd lied. Told him the money was gone. Told him we wouldn't see a penny. Some instinct had made me do that. Some quiet voice in the back of my mind that said, protect this. Keep it safe. Don't tell him. I'd listened to that voice. Put the money in a separate account at a different bank. Given Broderick Landry, Aunt Winifred's financial advisor for 3 decades, instructions to invest it conservatively. Nothing flashy, nothing risky. Just steady, careful growth. In 2 years, it had become $923,000. I pulled up Broderick's number. He was old school. Didn't work weekends usually, but he'd given me his cell phone number when Aunt Winifred died. Told me to call anytime. It was 8:15 on a Friday night. He answered on the 3rd ring. Octavia. His voice was warm, grandfatherly. Everything all right? I need to access my investment account. Make some large purchases. Of course, what are we looking at? I opened Facebook on another tab. Quentin's profile. Public, because he wanted everyone to see his perfect life, his perfect engagement, his perfect wedding plans. He'd posted about everything, every detail documented, every vendor tagged. Desert Luxury Travel had booked the honeymoon. He'd posted a picture of the resort in Bora Bora, tagged them, gushed about how Tatiana deserved the best. Pinnacle Mortgage Group had approved their home loan. He'd posted a picture of the house, the sold sign out front, tagged them too. Our dream home, the caption said. Can't wait to start our life here. Every piece of his new life laid out for me to see, posted publicly, tagged conveniently. Let's start with $30,000, I said. I'll need it transferred to my checking account by tomorrow morning. That's quite a bit of liquidity all at once. Mind if I ask what for? A gift. For my son. He's getting married. Broderick was quiet for a moment. Then, I'll have it transferred first thing. Should be available by 9 a.m. Thank you. Octavia, you sure about this? I looked at Quentin's Facebook post again. Him and Tatiana in front of their new house. Both of them smiling. Both of them looking at the camera like they'd won something. I'm sure. I hung up. Sat back in my chair. The apartment was dark now except for the laptop screen. Tomorrow was Friday. The wedding was Saturday. I had less than 24 hours. I started making calls. Desert Luxury Travel opened at 9 a.m. I was there at 8:55, waiting in my car in the parking lot. The dress I wore was 10 years old, navy blue, hem coming loose on one side. I'd fixed it with fabric tape that was starting to peel. It was the best thing I owned. The receptionist looked up when I walked in. Young woman, professionally dressed, smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. Do you have an appointment? No, but I need to speak with someone about a honeymoon package. It's booked under Quentin Aldridge. Her expression changed, softened. Are you family? I'm his mother. I'm taking over the payments as a wedding gift. The smile became real. Oh, how sweet. Let me get Marlo. She handled that booking. Marlo appeared 2 minutes later. Tall woman in her 40s. Perfectly applied makeup, handshake firm and professional. She led me to her office, offered me water, pulled up Quentin's file on her computer. The Bora Bora package, she said, turning the screen so I could see. 2 weeks at the St. Regis, overwater bungalow, private dinners on the beach, couples spa treatments. It's absolutely gorgeous. The photos showed crystal blue water, white sand, a bungalow on stilts over the ocean, glass floor panels so you could watch fish swim underneath. He put down a deposit? Yes, $5,000. The remaining $10,000 is due today, actually. The wedding's tomorrow, correct? Correct. I pulled out my checkbook, the new one from the account Broderick had transferred money into this morning. I'd like to pay the balance. Marlo's smile widened. That's wonderful. They're going to be so... And then I'd like to cancel the reservation. Her smile froze. I'm sorry? If I pay the full balance right now, then cancel the reservation. What's the refund policy? She stared at me, Her professional mask slipped for just a second, confusion showing through. Well, the deposit is non-refundable regardless. But if you cancel within 24 hours of final payment, you'd receive the $10,000 back minus a $500 processing fee. And my son would lose the entire trip? Yes, the St. Regis has a 72-hour cancellation policy. If we cancel today, they won't be able to rebook for a departure tomorrow. The whole reservation would be lost. Perfect. I wrote the check. $10,000. My handwriting was steady. Marlowe took it like it might explode. Mrs. Reese, I'm not sure I understand what you're... I need you to process this payment immediately. Then, in exactly 12 hours, I need you to cancel the reservation. Can you do that? This is highly unusual. You'll still get your processing fee either way, won't you? She glanced at the check. At me. Back at the check. Yes, but then I need you to trust me. This is important. Something in my voice must have convinced her. Maybe she heard the steel underneath. Maybe she recognized something in my eyes. Maybe she just wanted me out of her office. She nodded slowly. Okay, I'll set a reminder for 9 p.m. The cancellation will process then. Thank you. I stood, shook her hand, walked out of that office with my head high, one down. The mortgage company was next. Pinnacle Mortgage Group was bigger, fancier. Glass walls and modern furniture, and a receptionist who looked at my dress the way Tatiana probably looked at my entire life. I'd like to speak with a loan officer, I said. I'm interested in making a property purchase. Do you have an appointment? No, but I'm a cash buyer. No financing needed. Her expression changed instantly. Cash buyers were gold in real estate. She picked up her phone, spoke quietly, then smiled at me. Fitzgerald will see you right away. Fitzgerald was younger than I expected. Maybe 40. Sharp suit, expensive watch, handshake that lasted exactly the right amount of time. He led me to his office, gestured to a chair. I understand you're looking to purchase a property? Yes, I have the address. I pulled out the paper where I'd written it down. Quentin's Facebook post had included the street number, helpfully tagged with the location. Fitzgerald typed it into his computer, frowned. This property just closed escrow 2 weeks ago. The current owners are about to move in. I know, I want to make them an offer anyway. His frown deepened. Mrs. Reese, that's quite unusual. They haven't even made their first mortgage payment yet. Which means they haven't built any equity. They'll walk away with their down payment back plus a little extra for their trouble. I'm offering $500,000, cash. 15-day close. Fitzgerald leaned back in his chair, studied me with new interest. That's $15,000 over what they paid. I really like the house. Have you seen it? I've seen pictures. That's enough. He was quiet for a long moment. I could see him thinking, calculating. This was weird, sure. But it was also a guaranteed commission. Easy money. I'll reach out to their agent, he said finally, but I can't promise they'll accept. They will. I was right. Fitzgerald called me at 2:30 that afternoon. They accepted. The buyers, Quentin Aldridge and Tatiana Vance, are willing to sell. He paused. They seem eager. Of course they were. $15,000 profit for doing absolutely nothing? Tatiana's parents would get their co-signed down payment back. Quentin and Tatiana would pocket the difference. They probably thought they'd won the lottery. There's one condition, Fitzgerald said. They want to close before the wedding. They're planning to use the proceeds for their honeymoon. I almost laughed. The honeymoon that would be canceled in 6 hours. That works for me. How fast can we close? Well, normally I'd say it's impossible, but with a cash purchase, no inspection, no appraisal, if you can wire the funds today, we could potentially close by 6 p.m. Tell me where to send the money. 3 hours later, I was signing papers. The title company had rushed everything through. $500,000 transferred from my account to escrow, Keys handed over. The house was mine. I drove there afterward, sat in my Honda across the street and looked at it. Beautiful house, Mediterranean style. Terracotta roof, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, desert landscaping with flowering cacti and smooth river rocks. The kind of house I'd dreamed about when Quentin was little. The kind of house I'd imagined us visiting for holidays, grandchildren running through the rooms. I got out of the car, used the keys to unlock the front door, stepped inside. Empty rooms. My footsteps echoed on the tile floors, high ceilings, big windows letting in golden afternoon light. Kitchen with granite counters and stainless steel appliances. This was supposed to be where Quentin started his family, where my grandchildren would have birthday parties, where we'd have Christmas mornings and Thanksgiving dinners. Instead, it was mine. And he didn't know yet. I pulled out my phone, called Broderick. I need you to set up a rental agreement for this property. I want it listed by Monday morning, market rate for the area. You're not keeping it? No, this was never about the house. I locked the door behind me. Drove home. Made myself dinner. Spaghetti with jarred sauce. Nothing fancy. Watched Wheel of Fortune. At exactly 9 p.m., my phone rang. Marlo from the travel agency. Mrs. Reese, I just processed the cancellation like you asked. The honeymoon is officially canceled. Thank you, Marlo. Can I ask why? I thought about that. About how to explain it to this stranger who'd never met my son, who didn't know about the grocery store, or the stolen money, or the word pathetic. My son called me an embarrassment, I said finally. So I'm teaching him what embarrassment really looks like. I hung up, went to bed, slept better than I had in weeks. Saturday, wedding day. I woke up at 7, made myself eggs and toast, real eggs, real butter. I'd gone grocery shopping yesterday after signing the house papers. Bought everything I wanted. The cart was full, and when I swiped my card at checkout, it went through without a problem. The cashier, a different one this time, older woman with gray hair, smiled at me. Have a nice day. You too. I brought the groceries home, put everything away, stood in front of my refrigerator and looked at the full shelves. Milk, eggs, cheese, fresh vegetables, chicken breasts, orange juice, coffee creamer. When was the last time I'd had coffee creamer? Years. I'd been drinking it black to save money. I made myself a cup of coffee with cream and sugar, sat at my kitchen table. The morning light came through the window and made patterns on the wall. At 4 p.m., the wedding would start. The Phoenician Resort. $400 a plate. 200 guests. A band that cost $8,000. Flowers shipped in from California. Quentin had posted all the details, every single one. At 4:37 p.m., my phone started ringing. I'd turned it back on an hour ago, curious to see when he'd notice, when the panic would set in. Quentin's name on the screen. I didn't answer. It rang again. And again. By 5 o'clock, I had 12 missed calls. The first voicemail came at 5:08. Mom, what the fuck did you do? The honeymoon is canceled. Desert Luxury Travel said you paid for it and then you canceled it. Call me back right now. His voice was shaking, high and thin and desperate. I took a sip of my coffee. It was cold now, but I didn't care. Second voicemail at 5:22. The mortgage company just called. They said we don't own the house anymore. That you bought it? This is insane. Mom, you need to fix this. Tatiana's family is asking questions and I look like a complete idiot. Her dad is threatening to just call me back. Please. The please sounded wrong in his mouth, like a word he didn't know how to use. By 6 o'clock, I had 38 missed calls. By 7 o'clock, 55. The text messages started flooding in around 6:30. Answer your phone, this isn't funny. You're ruining my wedding. Tatiana is crying her parents think I'm a fraud. Please, Mom, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, just fix this, please. I made myself spaghetti for dinner. Watched Wheel of Fortune. A woman from Nebraska won $32,000. She cried a bed when the final puzzle was revealed. At 7:45, a number I didn't recognize called. I let it go to voicemail. Mrs. Reese, this is Tatiana Vance. Her voice was sugar sweet, practiced, the voice of someone used to getting what she wanted. I think there's been a misunderstanding. Quentin told me what happened, about the money, about everything. We'd really like to sit down and talk this through like adults. Please call me back. I deleted it. Another voicemail came at 8:15. Quentin again. His voice was different now, broken. Mom, please. Tatiana's parents are threatening to annul the marriage. Her dad thinks I'm a con artist. He's saying I used his daughter. They're talking about lawyers. Just, please. Tell me what you want. I'll do anything. Anything. I picked up my phone, typed out a text message. You took my food money. You uninvited me from your wedding because your wife thinks I'm pathetic. You used me your whole life and threw me away the second I wasn't useful anymore. There's nothing you can do. You made your choice. Now live with it. I hit send. 3 seconds later, my phone rang. Quentin. I didn't answer. It rang 17 more times. I turned it off, finished my spaghetti, washed the dishes, went to bed at 9:30, and I slept like a baby. Sunday morning, I turned my phone back on. 82 missed calls, 47 text messages, 6 voicemails. I didn't listen to most of them, just one, the last one, left at 2:33 a.m. Quentin's voice, barely a whisper. I don't understand. I don't understand why you're doing this. I'm your son. I'm your son and you're destroying my life. Tatiana left. She went back to her parents' house. They're saying the marriage doesn't count because we haven't. Mom, please. I'm sorry I called you pathetic. I'm sorry I took your money. I'm sorry I didn't invite you. I'm sorry. Please just make this stop. I saved the voicemail. Then I made myself breakfast. Around 11 a.m., someone pounded on my apartment door. I looked through the peephole. Quentin stood in the hallway, still wearing his tuxedo from yesterday. The bow tie was gone, the jacket was wrinkled, his face was red and blotchy, eyes swollen. Mom, I know you're in there. Open up! I stepped back from the door, walked to my couch, sat down with my cup of coffee. The pounding continued. This is crazy! You can't just ruin my life because your feelings are hurt. I sipped my coffee, looked out the window. Nice day, clear sky, not too hot yet. Fine, fine. You want me to grovel? I'm sorry, okay? I'm sorry I didn't invite you. I'm sorry I took your money. I'll pay you back, every cent. I'll get a loan. I'll figure it out. Just please undo this. Please. His voice cracked on the last word. I heard him slide down the door. Heard him crying, not quiet crying, loud, gasping sobs. Please, Mom, Tatiana left. She won't answer my calls. Her dad says she's getting the marriage annulled. They think I'm a fraud. They think I lied about having money. They think I'm using their daughter. Please, I can't. I don't know what to do. I set down my coffee cup, walked to the door, didn't open it, just stood there with my hand flat against the wood. You called me pathetic, I said quietly. Silence on the other side. You let your wife call me pathetic and you agreed with her. You stole from me. You erased me from the most important day of your life because I wasn't good enough. Because I embarrassed you. I didn't mean it. Yes, you did. I heard him take a shaky breath. What do you want? He whispered. Just tell me what you want and I'll do it. I thought about that, really thought about it. What did I want? I wanted the last 19 years back. I wanted the double shifts and the missed baseball games and the ramen dinners to have meant something. I wanted a son who loved me more than he loved impressing people. I wanted to matter to him the way he'd always mattered to me. But I couldn't have any of that. You can't unbake a cake. You can't undo the choices that made someone who they are. I want you to know what it feels like, I said. To have nothing, to be thrown away by someone you sacrificed everything for. Silence. Then footsteps. Walking away. He stayed outside my door for another 45 minutes. I could hear him out there, alternating between crying and cursing and begging. Finally, He left. I went back to my coffee. It was cold again. I microwaved it, sat back down on my couch. The apartment was quiet. Just me and the hum of the refrigerator and the birds outside my window. I felt peaceful. For the first time in longer than I could remember, I felt completely, totally at peace. 3 weeks have passed since the wedding. Quentin calls sometimes. I don't answer. He sends long emails. I don't read them. I heard through Facebook, I blocked him, but we still have mutual friends, that Tatiana had the marriage annulled. Some technicality about consummation, about fraud, about misrepresentation. Her father's lawyers handled it. Fast and clean. She's back living with her parents. Posted a photo last week from some resort in Maui. Looks like she's doing fine. Quentin's not doing fine. He's living in a studio apartment in Tempe now, the kind of place with coin-operated laundry in the basement and bars on the windows. Rent's probably $600 a month. He lost his job at the tech company. Someone who knows someone told me about it. Showed up drunk, missed too many days. They let him go 2 weeks ago. I should feel guilty. I keep waiting for the guilt to come. Keep waiting to feel bad about what I did. But I don't. I listed the house for rent. A nice family moved in last week. Young couple with 2 kids, a boy and a girl. The mom came by to drop off the first month's rent in person. Brought me cookies she'd baked. Chocolate chip. Thank you so much for approving our application, she said. We've been looking for a place for months. This house is perfect. I told her to enjoy it, to make it a home. I still live in my apartment, still drive my Honda Civic, but I'm not struggling anymore. I bought real groceries, fixed everything that was broken, the sink, the AC, the cabinet door that always stuck, even got new towels. The old ones were from 2008, thin and gray from so many washings. And I sleep fine at night. Better than fine, actually. I sleep solid and dreamless and wake up rested. Because here's what I learned. There's a difference between being a good mother and being a doormat. I spent 63 years confusing the two. Quentin thought I was weak, pathetic, easy to use, and easier to discard. He was wrong, and now he knows it. If you've ever sacrificed everything for someone who threw it back in your face, your worth was never in their hands. If you've ever been called pathetic, invisible, not good enough, they were wrong about you. They were always wrong. To anyone fighting their own battle right now, anyone who's been counted out or pushed aside, you're not finished. Your story isn't over. Sometimes the quietest people make the loudest impact when they finally speak. What lesson hit you hardest from this story? And if you were in my shoes, what would you have done? Would you have forgiven him, or would you have done what I did? Tell me honestly in the comments. Don't stop here. Click the next video on your screen right now and watch another powerful story from our channel. There are more stories of quiet justice, of people who were underestimated and came out on top. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your story matters too. And maybe, just maybe, someone needs to hear it. See you in the next one.